I wouldn't mind at this point if Caitlyn just started her villain arc. She needs to start putting her foot down because some of this stuff is getting a little wild. She comes into the WNBA, her biggest life dream to play professional basketball. She comes to the WNBA. She gets a special whistle the opposite way because she's getting fouled and flagrant fouled, and just the defense that they're playing on her is actually insane. Yet despite all that, has an incredible rookie season. And then on top of that, people are using her name for their hidden agendas on both sides. People are just using Caitlyn's name. And then if she says something, it's not enough. If she doesn't say anything, she never wants to speak out about anything. She cannot win.
Caitlin Clark has finally had enough. And this time, she's not holding back. The WNBA may have thought they could keep using her name for ratings and headlines, but the league's golden star just drew a line in the sand. Clark's latest comments about Commissioner Cathy Engelbert have sent shockwaves through the basketball world, and fans everywhere are divided. Did Caitlyn go too far, or was this long overdue? The tension between players and WNBA leadership has been boiling for weeks, and it's finally exploded. It all started with Nafisa Collier's now viral exit interview. 6 full minutes that completely hijacked the spotlight from the finals. Instead of fans talking about the Aces or Mercury, everyone's focused on Collier's brutal takedown of Engelbert, accusing her of lying about Caitlin Clark. Collier claimed Engelbert once said, "Caitlin Clark should be grateful for the WNBA because without it, she wouldn't have all those endorsement deals." That single line lit the league on fire. Players spoke out, fans flooded social media, and suddenly, the WNBA was in full-blown damage control. Engelbert tried to calm things down with a press conference before Game 1 of the finals. But if anything, it only made things worse.
You continued to express that you're disheartened by the characterization of your conversation with Nafisa Collier. Just again, seeking clarity. Did you in fact say that Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court? Because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything? And do you actually feel that way, that without this platform, players like Caitlin Clark wouldn't be making what they do off the court?
Yeah, obviously, I did not make those comments. Caitlin has been a transformational player in this league. She's been a great representative of the game. She's brought in tens of millions of new fans to the game, proud of what she's put on the court. Unfortunately, the injuries held her back from a full season this year. But again, I'm not going to get into every point, counterpoint. It's not productive here. We're here to celebrate the WNBA finals. I think what Indiana just did was amazing with all the injuries they had, and the, everything they faced this year, bringing that to a Game 5 in overtime. But yeah, as I said, there's a lot of inaccuracies reported out there. And I certainly did not say that.
She denied ever making that comment about Caitlin Clark, and went a step further, implying that Collier's version of their private conversation was full of inaccuracies. Translation: she basically called Collier a liar on national TV. That's when everything started spiraling. Because Nafisa Collier isn't just another player sounding off online. She's a WNBA vice president, directly involved in the collective bargaining talks that shape every player's salary, schedule, and benefits. Her words carry real weight, and the league knew it.
And at the end of the day, she's worried about her. In all of her statements, it's all like, well, I got us here and I should. And Cathy, no one cares. Literally, no one cares. Like how you're sitting right there, that's how we feel every time she speaks. Every time she speaks, us as players, that's how we feel.
She flat out denied ever making that comment about Caitlin Clark, and then implied that Collier's account of their private conversation was full of inaccuracies. Translation: she basically called Collier a liar on national TV. That's when things really blew up. Because Nafisa Collier isn't just some player ranting online. She's a WNBA vice president, directly involved in the collective bargaining talks that shape every player's salary, schedule, and benefits. So when she speaks, the entire league pays attention.
Well, I mean, first of all, I have great respect for Fee, and I think she made a lot of very valid points. And, you know, I think what people need to understand, you know, we need great leadership in this time across all levels. This is straight up the most important moment in this league's history. Well, this league's been around for 25 plus years, and this is a moment we have to capitalize on. So that's honestly what I would say. I think there's, you know, Fee said it all with what she said, and, you know, I think the points she made were very valid.
One sentence, that's all it took. and the entire league went silent. Because that line wasn't random. It was a clear signal that Caitlin Clark, the face of the WNBA, had finally chosen a side. And honestly, who can blame her? This is the same league that's used her name to sell tickets, boost TV ratings, and push every brand deal imaginable. All while letting her get tossed around on the court like at a wrestling match that, let's not forget, her rookie season. Caitlin was fouled harder than anyone else in the league, shoved, hacked, elbowed. And somehow, the refs just kept swallowing their whistles. People called it physical play. But let's be real. If those same hits happened to LeBron James or Stephen Curry, we'd be watching free throws every 5 minutes. When the commissioner finally gets a chance to show she cares about player safety, but instead uses Caitlin's name to protect the league's image. It's no wonder Clark's patience ran out. And that's when things went off the rails. Right after Cathy Engelbert's press conference, the one where she denied Nafisa Collier's accusations. She claimed she'd been in touch with Collier to set up a private meeting and clear the air. But before that could even happen, Collier canceled. She straight up refused to talk to her. ESPN broke the story first, and the wild part? Engelbert found out about the canceled meeting from the media, not from Collier herself. That's how bad it's gotten. The WNBA Commissioner, the most powerful figure in women's basketball, is finding out about canceled meetings through Twitter alerts. And this is where Caitlin Clark re-enters the story, after Collier pulled the plug several players, including some of Clark's own teammates, like Lexi Hull, publicly backed Collier. They said she wasn't wrong, that the league's leadership had completely lost touch with reality. Caitlin didn't issue a statement, but her actions said everything. She stopped reposting league content. She didn't mention the finals. She even liked fan tweets calling out the WNBA's leadership. And fans noticed. Soon, people started calling it Caitlin Clark's silent protest. And honestly, that's exactly what it looked like. A quiet but powerful statement from the biggest star the league has ever seen. A message that said loud and clear, you can't keep using me while disrespecting everyone around me. Now, before anyone says she's overreacting, let's zoom out. The WNBA is right in the middle of its most important collective bargaining agreement negotiations ever. Player salaries are at stake. The threat of a lockout is real, and owners are trying to figure out how to balance paying their stars more without losing money. Here's the twist. Two of the players representing the WNBPA in those talks, Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart, are also co-founders of Unrivaled, an alternative off-season league. That's where the conflict of interest comes in, that if the WNBA fails to reach a deal and ends up in a 2026 lockout, Unrivaled wins big. Because then players would have no choice but to play there just to get paid. So of course, owners are suspicious. They think Collier and Stewart might quietly benefit if the WNBA shuts down. And when the commissioner ends up feuding publicly with one of them, it makes everything look worse. That's where Caitlin Clark's frustration really comes from. She's sitting there watching both sides, the commissioner and the players, turning her name into a pawn in their battle. Meanwhile, she's just trying to train, recover from injury, and get ready for next season. But every headline somehow drags her name into it. She didn't ask for this fight, but now she's right in the middle of it. Think about it, every single WNBA storyline somehow loops back to Caitlin Clark. Ticket sales, ratings, sponsorships, even CBA negotiations, everything connects to her. Yet the same people benefiting from her popularity are telling her she should be grateful for what the league gives her. That's laughable. The truth? The WNBA needs Caitlin Clark way more than Caitlin Clark needs the WNBA. Her games break viewership records. Her jersey sales top the charts. Even her injured season drew more attention than the actual finals. And yet, the league still hasn't figured out how to protect her on the court or support her off of it. And fans are catching on. Scroll through social media, and you can feel it, the frustration. Longtime fans, new fans, even casuals, all realizing the same thing. The WNBA has one of the biggest marketing gifts in sports history, and somehow keeps finding new ways to mess it up. Here's the irony. Caitlin Clark isn't asking for special treatment. She just wants fairness. She wants to play basketball without constant drama, politics, or league spin. But every time she tries to move forward, the WNBA drags her right back into the spotlight, not for her talent, but for controversy. That quiet patience she had as a rookie? Gone. This isn't the smiling college superstar from 2024 anymore. This is the veteran who's realized that staying quiet doesn't protect you. It just makes it easier for others to use you to S.O. when Caitlin Clark sided, even subtly, with Nafisa Collier. She wasn't just supporting a fellow player. She was sending a warning to the WNBA. You're not untouchable anymore. And that's when the real fallout began. Behind the scenes, players started dividing into sides. Some backing Collier, others staying loyal to the commissioner. The locker rooms turned into quiet battlegrounds. Online, the conversation exploded. Fans flooded social media with hashtags calling for Cathy Engelbert to step down. Memes, threads, comment wars. Everyone's talking about it, and not in the way the league wants. Because when your biggest star, the very player who built your recent success, starts showing signs she's losing faith in leadership, that's not just drama. That's a full-blown crisis. Caitlin Clark's silent protest might not involve shouting or press conferences. But make no mistake, it's shaking the league to its core. And it's only the beginning. Fans are losing it. And for good reason. What started as a tense exchange between Cathy Engelbert and a few players has now spiraled into what might be the most chaotic chapter in WNBA history. Social media is on fire. Fans are arguing. Former stars are chiming in, calling this the most embarrassing stretch the league's ever seen. And through it all, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert is still pretending everything's fine, holding her usual overly polished press conferences about alignment and stakeholder engagement, while the league around her is basically burning down. Just a few months ago, people were calling this the golden era of the WNBA: record ratings, new investors, talk of expansion. Now, those same fans are wondering if there will even be a 2026 season. And let's be real, this mess isn't on the players. It's on leadership. You can't dismiss player concerns, alienate your biggest stars, and then expect everyone to smile for media day. You can't have the most famous athlete in women's basketball feeling disconnected from her own league and still sell the idea of one big family. Engelbert's denial of Nafisa Collier's comments might have been the final straw. Because even if she didn't actually say what Collier claimed, the fact that almost nobody believes or says it all, her credibility's gone. And the wildest part? It's not even about who's right anymore. It's about how catastrophically this was handled, that a private disagreement has turned into a public soap opera, right in the middle of the finals. Instead of talking about who's winning, every headline is about who's lying. That's why Caitlin Clark's subtle but powerful stance hits so hard. She didn't post a long thread or go on a rant. She just went silent. No reposts, no finals mentions, no league promos. And that silence is deafening. Fans feel it. Sponsors feel it. Even ESPN anchors are dancing around it because no one knows how to spin this anymore. What we're watching right now is a power shift. The players are realizing they don't need the commissioner's approval to have influence. And Caitlin Clark, whether she likes it or not, has become the face of that shift. Now that Clark has publicly sided with Nafisa Collier, the WNBA is in full-blown panic mode. And honestly, they should be. When your biggest star, the person literally carrying your league's popularity, starts hinting she's losing faith in leadership, you've got a crisis. Fan reaction? Brutal. Online, Cathy Engelbert has become public enemy number one. There are massive threads with thousands of comments saying, "Fire Cathy." Memes are everywhere. People are comparing her to the "This Is Fine" dog, sitting in a burning room, sipping coffee like nothing's wrong. And for once, both sides, Clark supporters and Collier supporters, actually agree on something. The league's leadership looks clueless. That's how bad things have gotten. Even the fans who usually fight about every little thing are united in one message. This is embarrassing, to be fair. Not everyone's picking a side blindly. Some say maybe Collier should have kept things private. Others think Caitlin shouldn't have responded at all. But here's the problem. Silence is a statement when you're the face of the WNBA that if Caitlin says nothing, she's accused of ignoring real issues. If she says too much, she's fueling drama. It's a lose-lose situation, one the league put her in. They made her the face of everything. The ads, the promos, the interviews. She became the centerpiece of their marketing strategy. And now that things are going off the rails, they're acting shocked? Pleased if you make one player the entire brand. You're giving her the power to shape how the world sees your league. And Caitlin Clark's shaping that perception right now, quietly but effectively. You can tell she's done playing nice. You can tell she's tired of having her name dragged into boardroom fights, rival league politics, and hollow empowerment speeches. All she wants is transparency and fairness, and the fans agree. Now let's talk about the real-world consequences, because this isn't just another PR scandal. This could reshape the entire future of the WNBA. The league's in the middle of negotiating its next collective bargaining agreement, the CBA that decides everything: salaries, travel, scheduling, even how long the season runs. And if these talks collapse, a lockout in 2026 becomes very real. That no season, no games, no paychecks. That would be a disaster. The WNBA's finally gaining traction, new sponsors, TV deals, growing audiences, and now, right when everything's taking off, it's chaos. People thought the Caitlin Clark effect was going to take the WNBA to the next level. But with the way things are going, the league might fumble its biggest opportunity ever. And Cathy Engelbert's public handling of it? Not helping. She keeps repeating the same corporate talking points. We're listening. We value our players. We're committed to unity. Meanwhile, her players are tweeting fire emojis and sarcastic memes about being silenced. There's a total disconnect between leadership and reality. Even some coaches are starting to speak up. Stephanie White, head coach of the Indiana Fever, recently said what everyone was thinking: that Caitlin's been used as a pawn in other people's games. That quote has aged perfectly, because that's exactly what's happening right now. Caitlin Clark's being moved around like a chess piece in a game she didn't sign up to play. Here's the scariest part. The league still doesn't seem to realize how serious this is. They're hoping it all dies down after the finals. Spoiler, it won't. Caitlin Clark has completely changed the WNBA's power structure. She's not just a player anymore. She's a brand, an economy, a movement. And when someone like that stops trusting leadership, the entire system shakes. Think about the timeline. Collier cancels her meeting with Engelbert. Players post solidarity messages. Caitlin quietly sides with Collier. The commissioner acts like everything's fine while reporters ask if there'll even be a 2026 season. That's not business as usual. That's a rebellion brewing. Sponsors are nervous. Networks are calling for updates. Even NBA executives are watching this unfold closely. Remember, the WNBA technically operates under the NBA's umbrella. And if this meltdown keeps escalating, don't be surprised if Adam Silver himself steps in. Because if things continue like this, there's only one move left: replacing Cathy Engelbert. And honestly, maybe it's time, because whether you agree with Nafisa Collier or not, one thing's clear: too many players feel unheard. That tells you everything you need to know about where the real problem lies. So now, the big question: what happens next? Caitlin Clark has made her message clear without even speaking. You can't use me while disrespecting everyone around me. Her silence is strategic. It's deliberate. It's her saying, I'm done being your marketing tool. The players are divided, the fans are furious, and the commissioner is cornered. The WNBA wanted Caitlin Clark to be its face, and she still is. Just not in the way they expected. Because right now, that face represents accountability. The message she's sending, and the one fans are echoing, is simple. You can't claim progress if you silence the voices that build it. So what do you think? Is Caitlin Clark standing up for what's right, or has the drama gone too far? Hit like, subscribe, and tell me what you think in the comments.